Polish means that when I introduce myself to people, there are three possible reactions. The first one is that people look me straight in the face and without missing a beat, just very happily shouting in my face, "Ah, kurwa!" Harsh, but you know, I don't take it personally, they don't know my life. Yes, the second possible reaction is that they start asking questions because they remembered something they've heard on the news, or maybe they've been to the country. They say, "Oh, Poland, quite conservative, quite religious. So, are you a Catholic?" Bit personal, but why not? You know, and I do like telling people that yes, I am. When they ask me, it's not my icebreaker. Like, "Hi, I'm Mona. Do you believe in hell?" Not like that. But when they ask me, I like saying like, "Yes, oh, I'm a huge fan of God, actually. Such a big fan. I've read all of his books. I can't wait for Bible too. Yeah, big fan. I go to fan meetings every week, you know. I have some merchandise on the wall at home, some action figures. Yeah, big fan. Big fan." And people start asking questions. And they're never good questions. And usually if it's an event, or maybe I'm drinking alcohol, eating something, and people start asking, "Oh, but should you be doing, are you allowed this? Should you be eating this, drinking this?" And guys, Catholicism is a religion, not a diet. Like, you're never gonna hear the conversation that goes, "Oh my God, you look great, you've lost so much weight. Thanks, I'm doing Catholicism for the summer." Is it working? It's just not gonna happen. And the third reaction, that is a specifically Bulgarian reaction, and it comes from a very special group of people, and that is the wisest people among us, the taxi drivers. Because this is what happens every time I'm in a taxi in Bulgaria. I get in, the driver takes one look at me, decides I'm Russian, and says, "Здравствуйте." I don't necessarily want to engage in conversation, but just automatically I say, "Oh, I'm actually Polish," and at that point he's gone. He's just, the face goes blank. He forgets me, he forgets what's happening. He's like 40 years and 40 kilos younger, somewhere at the seaside. And he just says with this nostalgia in his eyes and a wistful smile, "Ah, Polish. I knew a Polish woman once." And this is how I found out that every single taxi driver in Bulgaria has had a love affair with a Polish woman. But what I don't know is this a coincidence? Or is that one Polish woman was just really into taxi drivers, spent a busy summer in Sunny Beach in the 80s, so if anybody knows Ilona, please let me know. Do we have any taxi drivers in the crowd here? No? No? Oh, okay. Well, next time. Well, but I am Polish, and I've been living in Bulgaria for a long time now, and when I first came here, a lot of people, especially Bulgarian people, asked me, why? Just why? From the west to Bulgaria, why? There must have been a Bulgarian man, huh? Was there a Bulgarian man? Mm-hmm. And you know, I don't like this assumption because I think it's a bit insulting to Bulgaria. There are so many reasons to be here. It's a bit insulting to women because there are so many reasons, you know, the agency of your life, you don't need to do things for a man. But before I launch all my feminist rage, yes, there was a Bulgarian man in my life. Yeah, he's my dad. And people say that, "Oh, your dad, so that makes you half Bulgarian then?" And I suppose technically, biologically, but my dad left the country when he was a young man, and I was brought up quite Polish, and I don't want to sound like those American people that only ever speak one language, only ever live in the state when they were born, but when you ask them the nationality, they just give you a list of fractions, like, "Well, I'm actually 1/4 French," bottom left. What does that mean? You know, you're not French, your grandma spent a busy holiday in Europe, that's different. But then, if it's not a man, then the follow-up question is, so you came here for a job then, did you? And that's not the case either, no, because I don't even have a job right now. I am currently unemployed, or as I like to call it, a full-time comedian. Yeah, and unemployed people quite often do this silly thing where they don't say they're unemployed, they say that they're between jobs. You know, between jobs, that is a strangely confident euphemism, isn't it? You don't know that? What do you say when you get divorced? I'm between marriages? I don't know, I've never met a homeless person who said, I'm doing great in life, I'm just between homes. Doesn't really work. But I'm not worried. I believe I can get a job if I need it, because Bulgaria is a land of opportunities, isn't it? I truly think Bulgaria is a land of opportunities. Sure, mostly in the sense in which psychologists tell you that for a positive change in your mindset, you should replace the word problems with the word opportunities. And so we have infrastructure opportunities everywhere, healthcare opportunities whenever you need help. And if you go to any public institutions at all, they will create some very entertaining bureaucratic opportunities just for you. And nobody does it better, I think, than the mighty Migration Office. I'm sure many of you are familiar, because we have some foreigners here with us. The mighty Migration Office, specifically designed to deal with foreigners, right? Nobody speaks a word of English. But I think that's deliberate. I think they do it on purpose, and I think that's good. Because it's a test of character, isn't it? I think the first visit to migration, that's like trying to pick up a woman at a club. She can see you, but she's not helping. First you have to show her that you really want it, and then maybe she'll get involved. You'll see. But I did my research, I prepared, I asked around, and I printed out every conceivable document that I possibly could. I prepared all my diplomas, all my certificates, all my copies, all my translations, all my copies of translations and translations of copies, and a testicle of a unicorn, and a thimble of raindrops, and then the nail clippings of a virgin, and I packed it all, and I made my way to migration to face Pinka at the counter, and she looked at all those documents, browsed through them very quickly, clicked something in the system, typed something in the system with 2 fingers. They're only allowed 2 fingers at migration. If you want more fingers, you have to pay for premium service. And she looked back up at me, and almost immediately she said, no, that's not possible, I can't register you there. This apartment does not exist. Imagine my surprise, I was already living in that apartment. And it seemed so real. But no, Penka was adamant that was not the thing, and I didn't really know how to convince her. So seconds passed, and we just looked at each other with this coy hopefulness of young lovers, each hoping that at least the other one knows what should happen now. And eventually a flash of inspiration came across her face, and she jumped back into the system, and she clicked again, and she typed again, and she looked back up at me triumphantly, and she whispered, I have registered you under the next number. Wonderful news, I'll take it. I mean, it doesn't make sense because I don't live there, but I'll take it, it's a legal document. But there's something that Pinka did not know about my apartment, and that is the fact that I live in the attic. Yes, some of you are ahead of me, yeah, exactly. The next number, not a thing. So my official address of residence in Bulgaria until this day is a rooftop with some pigeons shitting on it. But of course it's better to have a fictional and a real apartment than being between homes, right? And anyway, you don't have to look all the way to bureaucracy to see that people, generally speaking, have this tendency to make things not make sense. They like to complicate life, they like unnecessary complications. Take any area of private life, you will find the same. Take, for example, this new fashion of throwing gender reveal parties for babies. Now, for those of you that might not be aware what a gender reveal party is, that's when a couple is expecting a baby. And instead of telling people if it's going to be a boy or a girl, what they do is they waste everybody's time. Yeah, because, they want to announce it instead of words. They want to use color coding, pink for girl, blue for boy, right? And they want to use colored cake or confetti or fireworks. Do you know, one couple in Brazil, and this is a real thing that happened, actually poisoned an entire village because they painted the river blue to announce the arrival of the baby boy. Imagine getting the shits because Joro from next door can't just talk to his friends. It's a horrible thing. It's like you call your friends and you just give them the headline, but if they want the information, they have to come to you. You're like human clickbait. That's what's happening. So essentially, a gender reveal party is the family equivalent of a corporate meeting that should have been an email. That's what that is. Of course, I'm not worried about corporate meetings anymore because I am between jobs. And I'm not only between jobs, I'm also between relationships. Yes. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I've been diagnosed with a very sad condition of being an unmarried woman in my 30s. Yeah. It's very sad, and they don't even give you a special parking spot for that one. Thank you. Pity claps. I'll take them. Yeah. Don't worry, it's mostly curable. There's a cream you can use. Or a suppository. No, but it's fine, it's curable. And going on dates in your 30s, however, is a little bit sad. It reminds me a little bit of the takeout section at the back of a supermarket. You know, in the supermarket they have those hot meal sections, and every evening before they close, everything is discounted. You know? And they just hope that somebody will still want it. Anyone. Yeah, and it makes sense, doesn't it? Because with time, things get colder, things get softer. Maybe somebody put a dirty finger in it, right? And it's the same with the food, so... Yeah. But this year I decided to spice up my life, give myself more of a chance, and I tried a dating app. Yeah, we have fans in the crowd, okay. There is hope. I tried a dating app and I started swiping, left, right, but I noticed quite quickly that there is a very clear pattern between what you read in the profile and then how the conversation unfolds and who comes up to the meeting if it gets to that stage. So I've compiled a little glossary of terms, translated something, and I'm going to share it with you to finish, because maybe we can treat it as group therapy, or maybe I can just save you some time. So this is what I learned. The first one is very simple. If the pictures show a man wearing a hat, he's bald, right? We know that, that's fine. No problem with that. He's definitely bald. That's not a bad thing, many attractive bald men among us, but you probably don't want to date somebody who's so ashamed of what they look like. Also, let's just say it out loud. Wearing a hat doesn't make you not bald. It makes you bald in a hat. The second one, a bit more advanced, if his profile says that he is apolitical and spiritual, he smokes weed. That's what that is. I'm not judging, I'm translating, but that's what that is, and you should know it. Yeah. If he says he's cool and indoorsy and enjoys the movies, he smokes weed daily. That's probably his entire personality. This next one, a little bit more interesting, if he says he's open-minded. That means he has no views or beliefs of his own and he will not tolerate you having any. That's you might think I'm making this up, but let me just give you an example of the last man I saw using the word open-minded in his profile. He just said 2 short sentences about himself. That was his entire description. All it said was this: I'm very tolerant and open-minded. Not interested in Muslim girls. So there is that. This next one. If he says he can be a bit of an asshole. Do you know what that means? That means he can be a bit of an asshole. So be careful, a bit of a curveball there. Yeah. And this last one, also very important. If he's Italian. And I like saying that because there's always such a groan of fellow victims in the crowd just nodding passionately. Yes, yes. If he's Italian, just don't. Thank you, yes. If he's Italian, you're just wasting your time, you're wasting his time, you're wasting his wife's time. It's just no point. It's a wonderful country, but they should probably just change the national triple colour into a red flag. And I'll leave you with that. So thank you very, very much, and now please make some noise for the next comedian.